today. I'll be introducing someone in a second. Pleased to be here to make this announcement along with Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and our Chief of Staff, Everett Gillison, and our City Representative, Desiree Peterkin-Bell. I want to especially thank Joe Kluger, who chairs the Mayor's Arts and Culture Advisory Council. I had made a commitment many years ago when I was running for mayor that I would in fact reopen or create new the Office of Arts and Culture. And when we made that announcement, we also partially renamed it as the Office of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy back in 2008 to support the growth in our creative sector in Philadelphia. I firmly believe that the key to a well-rounded and vibrant city is, in fact, a strong arts and culture and creative presence. It adds to the quality of life. When you look at the impact of the arts on our economy and the region's economy, nearly 30,000 jobs tied to art and culture in the city of Philadelphia, $750 million in income generated as a result of arts and culture in our city. It is a strong part of our economy. Philadelphia is, of course, a natural leader in arts and culture. And this lively sector includes the creative corridor on our Parkway, which is, of course, the location of multiple museums and other great venues in the city of Philadelphia. The Avenue of the Arts on North and South Broad Street with theaters and music venues, restaurants, and of course 2 respected art universities. In our Old City District, for instance, alive with so many different kinds of galleries and theaters. And even with all this going on, we are still constantly, daily, striving to increase access to cultural activities in our city. A dynamic creative sector like ours, of course, requires strong leadership and vision. And the first thing I want to say is to all the folks who work in the Office of the Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy, I want to thank them for their continued leadership, their support. Our first leader, of course, Gary Stoyer, left some time ago, but certainly left the office in good hands. We've had any number of events and activities since that time, and the good work and the benefits of that office continue to make a difference in our city, and so to all of you. Thank you very much for staying focused on the mission at hand. Our leader on the economic development side, as I was talking about the impact of the arts on the economy of our city, Alan Greenberger, Deputy Mayor for Economic Development and the Commerce Director, is here with us as well. And for all of those reasons and many more, I am very pleased and excited to announce that after many months of searching, that today I am appointing Helen Haynes as the city's new Chief Cultural Officer for the City of Philadelphia. Helen has been an incredible leader in the arts and continues to demonstrate that leadership on a regular basis. She started her career in Philadelphia working to bring visibility to African American and Latino organizations long before they were ever truly included in any citywide conversation. I'm confident that not only is she highly qualified, but also will be an excellent promoter of the arts and culture and the creative economy, the tie-ins with our Commerce Department all across the city and the region. Her strong background in the arts community, as well as an artist herself, Helen has worked as the Director of Cultural Affairs at the Montgomery County Community College since 2001. And while there, she used her longstanding relationships with artists and founders to bring innovative, inclusive, and exciting programming to Montgomery County Community College. Prior to working at the college, she was the executive director of the Clef Club right down the street on South Broad Street, that historic jazz venue with a great reputation located on the Avenue of the Arts. When she was running the Clef Club, she created multiple partnerships with other organizations presenting jazz, spearheading a movement to strengthen the jazz community. Many of you will recall that we just recently had the declaration of Jazz Month and a great ceremony here in the Mayor's reception room just a couple weeks ago. Her impact was felt by many artists, especially in the jazz and dance communities. She's worked with many groundbreaking artists who still look to her for guidance and her great vision. Helen worked with a number of arts organizations in our area, including the Greater Philadelphia Cultural Alliance, the Pew Center for Arts and Heritage, and the African American Museum in Philadelphia. And so clearly she understands how to interact with a variety of many, many different people, the great diversity of our city, interfacing and interacting with the arts and culture scene from all sides and bringing extensive relationships to bear, which I believe Philadelphia will greatly benefit from. Her experience and passion for arts and culture will bring a fresh perspective to our programs and initiatives, and I personally know that she truly cares about arts and the artists and will bring value to our city. Under Helen's leadership, the Office of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy will in fact strengthen our city as a premier arts destination. She'll oversee all the city's arts programs, coordinate with relevant city agencies to unify the city's arts efforts, and serve as a liaison between and among the many city cultural institutions. Her duties will also include expanding arts education programming for young people and supporting the growth and development of the city's arts, culture, and creative economy sector by promoting public and private investments, working with our Deputy Mayor for Economic Development, working with the city representative, and so many, many others all across the entire spectrum of our city government. There is a role for arts, culture, and the creative economy all throughout every department and agency in our city government. That's our goal, that's our focus. Helen will officially begin her role as the Chief Cultural Officer for the city on June 7th. We're truly looking forward to having her as a part of our team. Let's give a warm Philadelphia welcome to a Philadelphian, Helen Haynes.
I consider myself an arts worker. I've probably done every job in the arts. I'm a visual artist, I'm an advocate, an arts administrator, a teacher, a faculty member, a board member, and a fundraiser. And the arts are not only my passion, but have been my mission throughout my career. Not only do they drive commerce and make our city a world-class destination through our historical sites, our museums, our dance companies, the orchestra, the music organizations, the events, but they also drive engagement in our city's neighborhoods. We're fighting the trend nationally because engagement and attendance is up in Philadelphia. More families and children are participating in the arts, and communities of color are leading the way in that. The arts play a significant role in our children's education, in community revitalization and community building through creative dialogue and helping people to encounter other cultures and perspectives. But the reason people are attracted to our city is because of Philly's flavor. And Philly is a place where people and traditions and community-based organizations and festivals that they create celebrate our diverse identity and make us very special. We know that arts make a difference, and that's why this office exists, and it should be an ongoing part of our city government to help encourage and find sustainable sources of support for our community-based organizations and our major institutions. So I'm looking forward to working with the mayor, and this is kind of full circle for me. I was around when the Cultural Fund was initially developed, and so we're going to continue to support that and continue to support our organizations here in Philadelphia. Thank you so much.
Helen, thank you very, very much. And with that, I'd be glad to take any questions from the media about this particular announcement. If you have other questions on other matters, ask you to talk with Mark or Desiree. We'll make arrangements for those. But for the moment, I only want to take questions about this announcement. Tommy?
Well, the mayor's given me about 30 days to put together a plan of action and a series of things that he's hoping that we can work on. So, there'll be more on that later.
Tell me what I can tell you. some of the concerns that I've had. Concern is too strong a word on this particular part. As I said in my remarks, I do in fact believe that arts and culture, this creative economy, can be infused, if you will, all throughout the city government. And you've seen, and Helen and I have talked about this and other members of the team, I think the best way I can explain this is you've seen how we have, in fact, infused, if you will, our GreenWorks Philadelphia plan all throughout the city government. That's our sustainability plan. I think that virtually every department and agency in the government can benefit, can participate in some way, shape, or form and support the arts and culture and the creativity that goes on in this city. And so the idea here is when Helen comes back with the strategic plan and working with the staff and many others in various positions in the government, that we would actually see more of that kind of activity. We know for a fact, on the other hand, pre-recession, many of our arts and culture organizations, small, medium, and large, were experiencing financial challenges. We know in the aftermath of the recession, for some, the situation has become even worse. And so one of the things we want to look at is how do we make sure that this office is in fact a great resource for all of those organizations, but also looking at and doing a real survey of just what is the financial condition and circumstances of many of those groups and organizations, and how can we best provide support or assistance or even guidance, helping with possibility of strategic alliances or partnerships. Some organizations, rather than allowing them possibly to fail, maybe there's another partner for them. We should be looking at hospitality and tourism, the entertainment field, and arts, just in terms of those organizations and what is their outreach. How accessible are the arts for so many across the city of Philadelphia, and how do we get more and more of our neighborhood-based groups and organizations actively engaged with the office, actively partnered with other organizations, so that when people who are here in Philadelphia or folks who are visiting our great city will know not only what's happening downtown or in Northern Liberties or in Fairmount or up the Parkway, but would also know that there are lively groups and organizations in West Philly, in South Philly, in North Philly, in the Northwest, in the Northeast, along the river wards and areas that are adjacent to great cultural core of Center City. All of those kinds of things, I think, are many, many serious and legitimate issues to be examined by this office, and how can we as a city government best promote art and culture in our city. Again, it's one of the great attractions for whether it's a millennial population, you hear us talk about that cohort, or empty nesters, many of whom are also moving to Philadelphia. They support the arts. They go to the shows. They're contributors. And we want to make sure that all of those audiences are, you know, kind of meshing or mixing or merging and promote these groups and organizations and help them expand their audience bases as well. Those are some of the kinds of things that we'll be working on. Mike, you seem like you're about to jump out of your seat. What do you got? Yeah, no, I understand.
As you may know, Mayor, the members of the arts community have an online petition now calling on you and City Council to revise your budget proposal for the cultural fund, bring it back to 2010 levels. In light of the comments you just made, do you have any plans to do so, and if not, why?
Well, we're still in the budget process, so, you know, I get many petitions, I mean, formal or informal, from virtually every constituency in the city. Everyone wants more, and I would love to give more. So I'm passionate about arts and culture. I'm also passionate about public safety. I'm passionate about public education, which for me is, in fact, the #1 issue here in the city right now. So I'll take it into consideration and under advisement, like all the other petitions for every group and organization that's asking for more and more and more resources. But we're not finished the budget process, and it's certainly a top priority for me. But it also has to be balanced with all the other pressing issues. And as I said earlier, there is no one issue more pressing in this city right now than properly funding public education system, and we're not at a point yet where we've even made decisions about where that's going. So that is, in fact, number one. It's probably also number two, and everything else is behind that. Sure.
Are you satisfied with the size of the cultural fund as proposed in the mayor's budget?
Well, I think all of us would love to see adequate funding and for these organizations. And there may be various ways that that can happen. We certainly want to maintain the cultural fund. But as the mayor said, as we integrate really the role of arts and culture throughout government, there may be other ways that we can help organizations and really provide more resources.
Anything else? Any other questions? Okay. Thank you all so much. Congratulations. Welcome.